Welcome to another episode of the Clear Table Talk. The recorder just started recording without me touching it, so I believe that there is a spirit in this place today. That is not me. I just moved my hand this way, about to press the record button, and it just turned on. And so, oh, wait, interruption by my son-in-law, whom I adore, Jose. Say hello to the people.
Hello.
So, today I thought I would uncover the topic about money and mental wealth, especially when it has to do with life and women's health. I just got out of the sauna for the morning and beginning my day. This is my leisurely production activity for my own exercise of my soul. I'm really quite busy most times with other endeavors. And I wanted to share with you a couple of things that helped me along the way as I'm still progressing and learning each day. I used to listen to Robert Kiyosaki's channel quite often and Jay Morrison very intentionally. And I know the formulas for wealth building because of them. And I just wanted to share. I finally, after years and years of not having any money at all, I got an opportunity to purchase get his and his wife product, one of their products, the game Cash Flow. This is a game that Rich Dad Poor Dad organization designed to help us to understand the system of money, to move away from the rat race into cash flow. It's something that I have yet to find someone to play with me with. I bought it, but I have no one to play with. So I'm here on the Clear Table Talk alone again. And one day, perhaps I have a guest. You just saw my son-in-law. That was really great, but they're quite busy in their own lives and work activities. And so this is kind of fun for me to do, whether I have guests or not. Okay. And then along with the cash flow game, I wanted to talk a little bit about the magazine Cryptocurrency, the complete guide to cryptocurrency that I found in one of the drugstores around town that has, I've always been someone to look at the magazines on the shelves as I'm standing in line, preparing to exit. In the background, if you see a distraction, that's my massage chair, so that my nerves are calm and collected as I record the Clear Table Talk, because remember, it's about money and mental wealth. Oftentimes in the stock market and in the money can be a source of such contention, and taking away from natural resources, the fiat currency at least, which Cash Flow Quadrant teaches how to operate under the fiat currency system. And cryptocurrency is altogether different, which is they I think from what I understand is they model it after gold, having a finite amount available as they mine the cryptocurrency, and everyone you can purchase cryptocurrency and trade goods and services. So well, without the high interest rate or feeling like you're robbed, and it's more trustworthy. You just have to know your code, your passcode. I don't know much about the cryptocurrency. I have yet to really engage in any real activity with cryptocurrency or any significant transformation, life transformation with the fiat currency either. I am a humble entity operating under my trademark name that I'm working on, Assata Windchaser Holiday, in the public space. Of course, I was not born that name, but I uncovered that name as I began to discover a description for the life that I have led. I'm inspired as a young girl by Maya Angelou, um, and Still I Rise. The story of Job in the Bible. You gain, you lose, you gain, you lose. Job, job. They're one and the same. Um, so I'm wanting to open up the magazine and the game, and kind of share it with the whoever's listening. And I would hope that you receive it. And you have questions or comments, please leave, like, subscribe, and to my channel, because what I'm trying to do is develop content and that I want to later introduce into a classroom setting in a podcast. That's my long-term goal, because I spent 10 years as a facilitator slash host of hundreds and hundreds of people coming and going over the years who had mental health diagnosis, talking about the topics power, women, and money and mental wealth. And I want to take it into the digital stage and make it into a digital asset for myself, and hopefully produce some market share in the capital domain for myself. So again, Rich Dad Poor Dad organization by Robert Kiyosaki and his wife. How to get out of the rat race, because we're all working. As you saw my son come in with his work clothes on, and myself am always working. We work. Mucho trabajando. Right? And it's fun to work. I always say I want to always work. I don't ever want to not have something to do. So this is my something to do that I'm deciding to transition out of the physical realm and put into the digital realm. And maybe someday in the future I'll have a space where I can have in-person sessions as well, where we dive into these topics together, or even get a group to play cash flow with. That's, I kind of want to do that, because I can't get anyone in my immediate setting to want to play. They think it's too boring. Like money, if you really are interested in money, like I watch Earn Your Leisure, it's not something that's quick, or it's boring. It's quite boring. I've worked in the accounting field for a lot of years too, since early on in my life, and it's really about the general ledger accounts and the balance sheet, and as well as the income statement, when you're conducting and managing and maintaining and being a steward over your properties and your resources. So this is the cash flow quadrant. I've taken the game board out of the box. Check it out. So I think they use the rat just for the same reason that Walt Disney used the rat in Disneyland. We're all kind of in this laboratory in the Western hemisphere, and likely in other spaces that I don't know about. I don't know. And we're all kind of, taking our annual physical exams and blood tests so we're all kind of running around in the lab of life. And here's one strategy to move out of the rat race into cash flow. And the reason that you might have incentive to want to do that for yourself is because when you go into cash flow mode, you've moved your way into financial security, and away from uncertainty, the anxiety that comes with being in the rat race. Because all it takes is a health disparity or a loss of a job, and boom, you're out of the game. So cash flow, if you get moving to the cash flow track, it's not dependent upon your physical input. So this is what my goal is for this channel for myself, to move into that space using this digital asset that I'm creating and developing. It's probably not the most exciting, because money is not something that's exciting unless you win the lottery. That's very exciting. I heard somebody won $2 billion not too long ago. That's, off a $2 ticket. That's exciting and extraordinary. Highly unlikely, but it does occur. Someone's got to win, so why not take a chance and at least spend $2 if you have it on the game. So that's here in California. So the cash flow quadrant on the board, some of the spaces are in the rat race. You get market, you have doodads, you get your payday, you have a baby. It reminds me of the game of life. Boy meets girl, they have children, then they pursue housing and other things. So in that sense, it's kind of like that when they talk about baby, because congratulations, it says, and add in your child expenses, limit 3 children per player. So children can be quite expensive. I heard it takes $1 million to raise a child from age 0 to 18. Then it has also in the category of rat race, lawsuit. Pay 1/2 of your cash to defend yourself. When we get into those things, even with taxes, you're paying out. Most of us experience money as an expense or a hardship or a headache. Now the lawsuit comes in, as I just mentioned, I'm sorry, not in the rat race, but in the cash flow, because you've gone up there and you're stomping with the big dogs, right? And so everybody wants to target you and come after you, especially if you're a show and tell, or you're just out, you're not in the right neighborhood, around the right people who are not equal or who have malice intention in their hearts and minds. And so that these kind of things can come up, or you have trade secrets that you were revealing. A lot of times when you work for different companies, you have to sign that you will not reveal any of the secrets of their sort of in-house recipes of success, because you would then be competing against them and helping their competitors. And no company who wants to be successful wants that. I think I heard that KFC, the Colonel Sanders, had a secret recipe he used to market as, and I think somewhere on the internet I heard it said it was salt and pepper was his secret ingredients. I don't know, but all kinds of stuff comes out. But Robert Kiyosaki is aging. I saw him on somewhere. I'd like to see him on Drink Champs with Nori, or either hot boxing with Mike Tyson, because I watch those as well, and those are fun to watch, how people talk about their lives and their path into money and mental wealth and how it's affected them personally. And I appreciate them being vulnerable and releasing such intimate information to the public, where people like me can watch and learn. People who are maybe without the status or social capital or all these things. So they have also on the board big deal. You can make a big deal, a small deal. You can play in the market, and you can have doodads. Big deal, small deal, market, doodads. I think doodads are more like what I used to call knickknacks. You pick up. I find that it's very expensive. The little things. We say nickel and dime. You're nickel and dime to death. There's always some little. All the little expenses are they add up. The show, The Price is Right. I used to watch it with Bob Barker before Drew Carey took over, and it's a good show about all those little expenses that we all have, and how they add up. And so, how do we manage them is important. I find in my ongoings, for years, my biggest expenses are gas and food, gas in the car and food in the refrigerator. And I thought, it's just so you're burning energy. E equals MC squared. You're just burning energy. Remember, I am Assata Windchaser Holiday. I'm a descendant of the Benin Empire, which is no more. I am made into the title African American, colored woman, whatever you want to call it. But we essentially, I believe, are one of the lost tribes of Israel or something, walking around the earth looking for a homeland. Martin Luther King said, I'll see you in the promised land. I might not get there with you, but I will get there. So, also we have on the board tax audit. Intruder alert, intruder alert. That's something that everyone cringes about, because they're like, two things you can depend on, I heard it said, is taxes and death. Everything else is subject to volatility. But those two are concrete and consistent, in the ways of the world. So pay your taxes. Don't get audited. Uncle Sam wants his piece. They call it pay to play. And so there's also divorce. That's a big one. That's in the cash flow area. Now, if you've accumulated a lot of assets and are an accredited investor, and you have gained a certain amount of assets classes, then divorce can be a big deal, because you have to, split all that up. Oftentimes we hear people go crazy over these issues, because they've spent years building alongside with people, and then they break up, and then they have to decide, who gets what, and how do we go from here? I watched Deion Sanders, who now is the head coach of Jackson State University, I hear, on his reality TV show, and he and his wife Pilar had broken up, and he had this beautiful property that they lived in and with their family, and I just really admired their image. And then he had to downsize. You see, so much of us, it's a roller coaster. Go up, go down, go up, go down. So what is the secret to long-term sustainability and success in your family life, in your work, in your, in your money and mental life, wealth life, meaning your income sourcing? And it's all that it is income sourcing. Guys, if you really try to think of it as just that and not weigh it so heavily, it's a fiat currency game. Now you get into the real world where you run into lions and tigers and bears, oh my, then that's something altogether different. The reserve system is designed to try and protect us from that environment. Although I went to the golf course in Palm Springs a few years ago and ran into a hyena and a falcon. There was a woman who the story goes, as I heard at the bar, she goes there regularly with her falcon. But I thought, oh, how peculiar. And she just lets him, it's her pet. And he flies around the golf course and comes back to her. But there's people who are really into birds and the whole trading of birds and racing birds and all these things is quite fascinating. I saw that on the internet. I love the internet because I get to all my curiosities. I just Google search. I'm a Googler. So I saw that my historical background in Africa, coming out of Egypt as one being of the pharaohs and the and whatnot, we were people who wore, some who had high stature in class, socially, wore gold helmets with birds on them. And I kind of get why they did that. Um, I think I have been a pharaoh arisen quite many times in my story of Job of up and down, because you hope floats up. You never give up hope. I'm ever the optimist. Even in the darkest moments, there's something that's gonna come out of it that is life affirming and creative, and it's an eternal order structure that never ends in our cycles, our life cycles here on the planet. Um, so so that's just me going on a tangent about my money and mental wealth ideas and ideology, and I like to have fun with it. It's fun to me. So we have cash flow day as we're discovering the board together. Cash flow day will be like dividends. Okay, you get your dividends or your pension, something of that nature. And then we have on the board charity. Charity is always nice because it's fulfilling to your humanity. I used to watch the Jeffersons, and Mr. Jefferson's wife would go to the help center with her best friend, and they would just, they had so much money, but they couldn't get away from helping other people who were in poverty or despair. It was fulfilling for them to do that activity. They called it the help center. I had my tenure at a few help centers. I volunteered at the senior services centers and the senior daycare centers and the mental health centers, and it in the women's shelters. And you really find treasure in the story of everyone. I have upcoming as Assata Windchaser holiday some projects that I'm working on. One is called Roots Revisited. And I'm kind of putting it out there, even though it's not complete as a project, because I'm writing and I'm gonna need some expertise in making my idea come to a reality. So I'm working through these things, and my vision is to go from book to film and be distributed worldwide, because I see that the country in which I'm born into, the United States of America, is in distress. And I have a story like Alex Haley had a story at another time in the history, and his story impacted the country in a way that was profound, and so will mine. And I think it's timely. It's time for this story to be told. It's the story of a mixed race family on the soil of what came to be known as the United States of America, and how they carried on and carried through. And so we have charity, we have cash flow day, we talked about the tax audit on the board, we talked about divorce, which no one wants. Divorce is so ugly, and the children are the victims of divorce. So I side with, if families can stay together, please do. Get your counseling, talk to therapists, work things out if you can, and function in the life that you committed yourself to. I hear that people are becoming polygamist and or having open marriages just to kind of keep their assets together, the things that they build over decades, working hard, and you build a life with someone. You don't want to do all that just to let it go. So you want to keep everything intact as best as possible, even though I recognize the Chinese have they do the sand art, and then just as it takes weeks and weeks and weeks to put together this beautiful arrangement of sand, and then they just blow it up, blow it away. And that's how it is a lot of times. We build, and then the wind comes, or the Mother Nature comes and reclaims back, which was what we thought we built. Because man's foolishness, God's wisdom Wait, man's wisdom is God's foolishness. Yeah, that's the quote. I think that is altogether true and valid statement. So I think I touched on all the big spaces on the board. How to get out of the rat race. We talked about cash flow, and what those things entail. Small deals, big deals. Donald Trump wrote a book called The Art of the Deal. I haven't read that book yet, but maybe in time I will, because I'm developing also a crystal business where I'd like to, you see the necklaces that I'm wearing, these are my works of art, my craft that I enjoy doing in my leisure time or my spare time as well, just to produce, because we're being productive when we work for firms, but what are we producing for ourselves? And so I went to Mary and what is it called? Mary Kay, where there was a training led by a woman named Angelique, who's an artist. I don't know much else, but she had been to oh gosh, what's the guy's name with the he walks on the fire. Oprah Winfrey went to his thing. Everybody, it's a big deal. He talks loud. If you know his name, please put it in the comments section. I can't call his name right now, but he's big in the life coaching world, and he's talks about how he empowered himself after having been a little kid who was